Hey, welcome back, y'all. With Season 10 dropping, it seems like the meta is going to change a lot in the next couple of weeks. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying like, oh, this character should be immune to scans, or this character should cleanse silence or whatever, right? But the dev team always has the same answer for this question. One of the core tenets of designing legends in this game is that they shouldn't be hard counters to each other. Since there's only 3 characters on your team and you're not allowed to change your character mid-game, people would say things like, oh, I should have just played this legend, like I just lost in the character select screen. And so it would feel bad to have like a full hard counter on the other team just randomly because of their legend. But there's a couple of things that go against this core design philosophy in the game already, and I kind of want to talk about them a bit because Seer changes it up a little bit and adds a couple more. All right, let me start with the classic Bloodhound Bangalore, right? The original weird legend interaction that didn't work like the rest of the game. Bangalore's smoke is supposed to be a cloak of cover that can get you from point A to point B without being seen too much or without being beamed. But with Bloodhound and now Seer, there are legend abilities in the game that directly counter her and her abilities. Yeah, so Bloodhound Bangalore has always been a pretty cool strat, and I'm having a lot of fun running Seer Bangalore, right, in arenas and stuff. But at the end of the day, at the highest level, for example, it just feels like those two kind of classes will nullify each other, and Bangalore will always be left like not really doing much because of that. Whereas like the scans still have value, even if there's no smoke. So I've definitely talked about bunker meta on this channel before, and I really don't want to get all in the weeds with it. But for all you young whippersnappers, I'll break it down real simple. All right, Watson was like mega busted OP for the first couple of weeks that she came out, and she changed the whole game, and people like unanimously thought that the game was too campy. And if you go back and watch like ALGS from back then, you'll feel me. So immediately in the next season, the devs were like, all right, fair enough. We'll just give you crypto, and EMP will break all the defense items and all the bunker legends. You'll be good. Everyone can just run crypto, and then that's it. So I don't know if that's the actual thought process behind crypto, but like it worked. You know, they made it happen, and people use crypto when it's a super Gibby heavy or Watson heavy meta. And again, we still have this interaction in the game now, and it's not like it's super busted. It's like it's a thing. It's just a thing you have to know and think about. And it's on his ult, so it's like it takes a long time to get it. You can't just spam it all the time. You know, it doesn't feel too oppressive. So now in Season 10, the devs have to be really cautious about crypto, because any kind of like spike in his power level is a reduction in the power of Gibby and Watson and Rampart in a way that would just be like a flat, okay, I guess I'm not going to play defense legends. So if you ever wonder why crypto's not getting this buff or why X character does what crypto does but better, I really feel like this has a lot to do with it. So after the whole crypto Watson fiasco, I think this philosophy kind of got more heavily instated, right? Because they were adding new characters, and suddenly like the characters that had already been put in the game, that people had already bought, were starting to be like countered by each other, and you would just not pick them in the character select screen. So for a few seasons, they really didn't add any more of these one-sided legend interactions. And I guess you could talk about Revenant here, and how like, you know, the silence takes away characters who are more reliant on their abilities, but at least it is like flat. Every character stops being able to press Q. But with Seer's release, we might have another one of these on our hands, and it's kind of more controversial. It's less cut and dry than the others. So this one is between Seer and Gibby. And if you've been playing a lot this season, or you're a big Gibby main, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Gibby has a pretty classic move where you decide to push a team, and they shoot you a little bit, and then your Gibby bubbles your whole team, right? Your team starts healing up and looking at the enemy team who just shot you, and it's like, hey, well, you just did the work. You know, you shot us, you cracked our shields, you did the job. So all you got to do is come down here in the bubble, and finish us. That's the thing you got to do now, right? It's basically like a macro ego challenge. And the same goes for the res. Like if they get your teammate down, then you can pick them up in the bubble and say, hey, come cancel this res, bro, get in here. So in that time, the enemy team thinks like, oh, do we push them, or are we going to get thirded? Do we keep our position? And the Gibby team gets a moment to like pivot. They can choose like, okay, we finish this push, or we go back to where we were. And you kind of neutral, stay safe in that situation. But now we have Seer. And Seer will just look at you in that bubble and be like, no. So this does hurt Gibby's value, like his general viability and his consistency, right? Like that, the bubble isn't necessarily just to block damage. It's supposed to give you a space to heal up and make a defensive pivot. But, and this might be a hot take, but here it is, all right? I think this is fair. I think, first of all, that Seer's ability to cancel heals and reses is unique and crafty and creative, and I love it, like straight up. The rest of Seer might be too powerful, and this is a powerful ability, but it's an ability that is very welcome in this game. And because of this, here's what I think. This interaction doesn't counter Gibby's kit in the same way that, EMP counters Watson's kit. It really just counters one part of Gibby's playstyle. So just like when the enemy has a Revenant and you're Wraith, you just have to understand, like, I can't make this specific play. At least not as reliably, not when you know the enemy team has a Seer instead of a Bloodhound, for example. So don't get me wrong here. It's pretty obvious that Seer is like extremely busted right now. And they need to do a lot to bring him back into line with the other characters, the other recon legends, etc. And the number one thing that I see online here is like there should be a character ability that counters Seer, like his passive, because there's nothing you can do about his passive. And you're right in saying that there's nothing you can do about his passive, because it's kind of bullshit. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do about this shit? But there is a character who counters Seer. You tired of Seer's passive? Silence him. You tired of Seer's ultimate? Crouch walk in there with Revenant. And now you get it, right? It's not fun to have a counter that's just on one character. I don't want to have to play Revenant just so I can deal with Seer. So I'm really not 100% on this last one, but the character just came out. We can't really tell yet. But let me know what y'all think. Is Seer hard countering Gibby? Because yeah, like I said, I really can't tell yet, But thanks for stopping by. I will see y'all next time. Peace.